Welcome back to the Soar Hire podcast, a show for leaders by leaders that's focused on providing business and career advice, tools, and resources to help you achieve higher levels of success. I am your host, Coach Jason Ballard, and we're so happy to be with you today. We've got an awesome show for you because it's all about you. We've been running this show all year long and has been a huge success. A lot of great things, a lot of great people on the show that's provided a lot of information and resources to hopefully help you break through, help you overcome some things that you may be wanting to overcome. And we're glad to be able to do that for you. Today, we are blessed to have the great Rob Johnson back in the studio. He's been on the show a couple of times. Rob, welcome to the show, buddy.
You're altogether too kind, Jason. Thank you.
Yes, sir. It's always a privilege. Rob and I met some time ago. He's just been a great friend to me and a great mentor as well. I got into the podcast business, if you will, earlier this year, and Rob's been a great mentor and coach there. Rob owns Wayne Media Marketing Company, but he also runs Speakeasy Podcast Network, which is the podcast that manages my network or my podcast for me, Soar Hire. And so really cool thing is going on as we kind of wrap up the year. We kind of take a look back of all the things we've done this year on the podcast, all the things we've talked about, and we've received some really good questions. There's a lot of thought and engagement from folks out there that want to learn a little bit more about some of the things we talked about, have some really good questions that they want us to help answer and clarify. And so Rob and his team have kind of broke that down, and we're gonna do a Q&A session today. So I hope this is going to be a great one and a lot of value for everybody out there.
Yeah, I think this is a nice thing that you're doing, Jason, because a lot of people, when they think about business coaches, they sometimes have more of a negative mindset towards it because they think of like the social media gurus and people that just say, motivation is going to solve all your business problems. And obviously that's not your brand of coaching, thankfully, for your clients. And obviously they appreciate everything that you continue to do for them. But I like a lot of these questions because they're geared towards kind of shattering those myths of, there are no good business coaches, or that all business coaches are trying to just take advantage of people. And obviously that is not what you do at Soar Hire. So I'm excited to get into these. Are you ready?
Yeah, me too. Me too, man. We'll start firing off. I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Number one. So many business owners are fearful over working with a business coach. There's a lack of trust there to some degree in their minds. So, two-part question. One, why do you think business owners have that preconceived fear? And two, how are you different than that standard?
That's a pretty powerful question. It's different for everybody, but generally speaking, one reason, there are many reasons. I think one is just lack of knowledge. All right. The unknown. Most people I talk to really truly don't understand coaching. They have an idea what that could be based off of sports or some other engagement of a coach, but they really don't understand what that is. They get it mixed up with, people being a therapist, being a counselor, or some type of consultant or something like that. I get compared to a number of different things. So one of them I think is just lack of knowledge about what a coach really is, especially a business or an executive coach specifically. Um, I think another reason, Rob, is people have fears. People are in different places in their life, personally and professionally. And some people have just fears of connecting with somebody because they're afraid of being judged, or why you doing things that way, or why'd you make that decision? People questioning them and they feel bad, like they're stupid or something. I think some people in the world. Not everybody, but there are some I've come across that have egos. I don't need help. I don't need some fancy pants coach coming in here telling me what to do. We'll figure it out. I think in some respects, it has to do with trust. Some people just have problems trusting, and we all need to get to a comfortable place to trust somebody, but some people just ha- find it more difficult to trust people and let people in, and to talk about things, let your guard down, and just ask for help. I think a lot of people struggle with asking for help. They think, oh, if people know I have a coach, then I'm weak, or I'm not
Mm,
smart, or I can't figure out how to solve the problem. And they think about it as like a negative reflection on themselves. But
yeah,
interesting enough, Rob, everybody I know, I know wants to improve. Everybody wants to grow. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has all the answers. And everybody I know in business wants to surround themselves with other people that can share similar thoughts and things with them. So they want, every leader feels alone, every leader goes through different things, and they want what a coach can give them, but the lack of understanding about what all those dynamics are prevents them from connecting with one
yeah,
that's the right one for them.
yeah. That's a really good answer. Very good points, Jason. There is certainly a lot of fear around that, and that's where people do have a hard time dropping their guard and explaining. If I tell this person all my secrets, what is that? They're going to judge me, or they're going to think that I've done an awful job. And that's, as a business owner myself, I think that one of the single biggest problems that I've seen, and I've certainly felt, is like, if I explain all the ins and outs of my business to people, all they're going to do is judge me, because you, as a business owner, sometimes you feel like you're always the worst one out there, that you're not doing well. And there's a lot of anxiety around that for people.
Yeah, there sure is. We are our worst own enemy, right?
Sure.
We get up every day, we go to our jobs and our businesses, and we do what we do, and we're critical of ourselves. We all have insecurities. We all go through the Maslow hierarchy of needs, fear of rejection, fear of people judging you and being critical of you and asking hard questions, makes people feel uncomfortable. And that's hard for people. It's really
Yeah.
hard for people. And that's why I try to make it as easy as possible for people to engage me. It's a judgment free zone, kind of like Planet Fitness. It's a judgment free zone, man. Just get in here and work out. Just do your thing, be you, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
And so um, I set that environment up the very first time I talked to people about this and put them at ease. And just the way that I do things is just different than most coaches out there. Just knowing that, and getting them comfortable where we can get to the heart of the matter of what's going on, and how to help them move forward with whatever it is they want to do.
No, that's a great point. And this kind of tails into the second question that we have on the list here is, does a
Yeah.
successful business coach center more on the strategy or the knowledge of the coach? And I'm going to add a qualifier here, because that might be a confusing question to some listeners, but I think when a lot of people see a business coach, they focus on the individual, and they make it like Tony Robbins would be a good example. They think about
Yeah.
Tony Robbins as an influencer, and they don't separate him from the actual strategy that's being applied. And I
Yep.
think that can be a difficult thing for people to separate. So, as a successful business coach, do you feel that the success for the business owner lies more on them following the strategy that you put forth, or just them trying to copy and paste you as a business coach. Does that make sense?
It does. And that's a very interesting perspective that a lot of people don't recognize. They'll see their neighbor down the road have a business and it'll be a good year for them. And they're
Mm,
like, "Oh man, I wish I was like Larry down the road. He's had a great year. He's driving a Porsche and he's, built a brand new building for his staff. He just hired 400 more people this year and I only hired 2 people this year." And they'll compare themselves to
mm,
others, you know, in really that's a really bad mistake because Larry's company just may be in a whole different level of maturity or stage of growth than where you may be in your company, right? And so you should never compare yourself to others as far as who's successful and who's not. You should kind of assess where you are, define what success is for you going forward, and and focus on your success and what that means for you and your business.
yeah.
When it comes to like the strategy, it's not about my strategy. It's not about how cool I look on social media like Tony Robbins. It's not about my programs. It's not about me. As a coach, it's not about me.
Mm,
It's all about the leader that I'm working or leaders that I'm working with. It's about where they're at. It's about what is important to them, what they're defining as success. It's about their vision. What is the vision of what you're trying to do? How big, how bold do you want to move this thing forward? How willing are you to do what it takes to achieve what you're claiming to be success for you at this next stage of growth? And depending on those answers, and each company's different, Rob. Each organization is different. There could be a million and one circumstances that surround those situations, which is why you should never compare.
right.
But it's about what you're capable of achieving. Where I come into the mix is if somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to define success as going from 5 million a year to $10 million a year in my small company." Okay, great. And I come into the picture and I assess some things initially. I did this about a month ago here recently with a client, and I walked around. They showed me, they gave me a grand tour. We walked around, looked at things, talked about things. And at the end of about an hour and a half session, I said, "Let me ask you a question. Why are you trying to be a $15 million a year company? How did you determine that answer?" "Well, just based on what we're doing and what we think we can do." And he kind of talked around it, and I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, here's my opinion. I think you can easily be a $15 million a year company, but I think you're really a 20 to $30 million a year company. Why what's preventing you from that type of vision and target? Because
Mm,
I think you're capable of doing that." And when I said that to him, Rob, he looked at me like I hadn't thought of that.
yeah.
He's like, "Tell me more." And we talked through that of why I thought that. Game changer.
Yeah.
Game changer.
And that's huge when you have someone else that can give you an unbiased outsider's perspective. And a lot of times, I see business owners they're so in the thick of things they can't take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Not because they aren't able to, but just that feeling of being in the monotony of day to day ops. It's hard to take a 30,000 foot view sometimes. So you underestimate, which makes you underproductive compared to where you could be had you have the proper perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that on a regular basis. People want to be conservative because they're afraid to fail, right? It goes back to
Sure.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. People are afraid to fail.
Yeah.
So sometimes they'll cheat themselves and set the bar lower so they feel more comfortable about hitting it. And if they hit that goal, oh my gosh, we hit the goal. We did great this year. Like, yeah, but you left 5 million bucks on the table in the same time because there's opportunities right in front of you you didn't take because you set the bar too low. And so
Yeah.
as a coach,
Mm.
that's what I try to do when I work with people is push them to their limits, get them to understand things bigger than what they may be thinking, and more importantly, resetting their mind and their confidence levels in what the art of the possible really is for them and show them how to do it.
Yeah, I love that. So piggybacking on that, Jason, what do you think are, if we had to summarize like Jason's top 3 signs that you need a business coach? What would those
Yeah.
signs? What would those top 3 signs look like for someone that is in desperate need of your service?
Yeah, this one's an interesting one. Here's what I normally hear. People that need a business coach have a lot of problems and things aren't going very well. Therefore, a coach needs to come in and rescue them. Bad performance or don't know what they're doing or something negative equals a business coach. Oh, I'm at my wit's end. I need to go find a coach and call uncle and turn it over to them and dig us out of this hole. Have I helped people in those situations? Yeah, but by and large, 90% of them aren't in that situation. The people that get value from a coach are people that want to succeed. They're already successful. They've already, been in business for, X number of years. They've already made some money. They've already hired some people. They've already achieved some things. They just want somebody to push them harder, push them faster, hold them accountable. They may already have all the key ingredients. They just need somebody to unlock that potential in there and maybe shine a light on things differently and expand their perspective so they can capture more opportunities than they may be looking at. A lot of leaders, because leadership, Rob, as you know, as a business owner, leadership's lonely at the top.
Incredibly so.
Lot of lonely days as a leader. Leaders quite simply need people to talk to. They can't just talk to anybody about business. Their spouses normally don't get it. Their employees don't get it. And it's inappropriate to talk to your employees about all the business stuff going on. Their neighbors don't get it. Their parents don't get it. Very few people understand entrepreneurism and what it's like to be there. Leaders need outlets. They need to vent. They need somebody that gets them. They need somebody that they can call when they're thinking about things and they want to brainstorm or be innovative. They want to think outside the box. They want to tap into expertise. They want to hit the gas pedal and they hold back because they second guess themselves sometimes because it gets lonely at the top and you second guess yourself.
Yeah.
A couple other things I can think of. If you're starting a new business, you need a coach. Way too many things going on, way too many, levels of risk there in the beginning. 70% of all businesses go out of business by year 5. So, what's a way to mitigate that risk? Get a coach that knows exactly what to do, knows exactly how to start a business, how to prioritize, how to budget, and how to focus and get the most important things done to get that sucker off the ground as soon as possible. Mistake a lot of leaders make is they will drag things on too long, spend tons of money and just burn out. So, if you're brand new in business, get a coach immediately.
Yeah, I think on that point, Jason, when you look at new business owners getting started, a lot of times it's it's an idea that has been encouraged by a lot of peers, but none of those peers have done it before. So they're basically just egging you on to do something, but you have no expertise or experience in actually executing that idea. And I think a lot of people would be in a much better position had they have done things from the beginning. Like in my business, for example, I didn't have a financial controller until year two. What a mistake that was. While I can do finances, while I understand taxes and I understand, financial reporting, that's not what I went into business to do. I went into business to, do creative and podcasting, right? And not to manage my own finances day to day. Like that's a tremendous job, right? So I think that I think there's a lot, and business owners don't really think about this cost benefit analysis. Jason might be, I don't know what the line item would be, but let's flip it on my end and say marketing. You might pay a couple $1,000 for a marketing company, but how much is your time worth to not have to market yourself, to not have to write the copy and do the creative? How much is your time worth, making those, widgets or whatever it is that you do, instead of having to do things that you didn't go into business to do? And the same thing with coaching.
Yeah. One of the biggest mistakes you can do going into business for yourself is feeling like you need to do everything, you need to be in the middle of everything. People go into business normally because they have a good idea about a product or service, and they're usually really good at it. For example, I've worked with a lot of software companies. These guys are software developers. They've worked in company X, and they're really good at that. And they're tired of working for that particular company that's got bad leadership or management and a culture, and they can deliver it bigger and better. And so they go off on their own to do it, but they have no business skills. They have no business training. They have no business expertise of how to run the business, the bookkeeping, the marketing, the sales, et cetera. They to your point, Rob, they don't even know how much their time is even worth. If you
Right.
say, well, how much is a business owner, how much is your time worth? And they're like, well, I was making $50 an hour at the last. I'm like, yeah, that's not the answer to the question.
Right. I met with someone recently and they were talking about starting a virtual assistant service. And they're like, well, I'm paying this person 20 an hour, so I could probably charge 30 an hour for the service. And I'm like, no, like that is so cheap. Like you're giving yourself $10 per hour for your entire business operation. Like that is not, it doesn't work that way. So it was just kind
Nope.
of like a casual conversation. And I was like, you need to shoot much higher and think about what expenses, you think about scale, paying yourself. You need to think about all of those things.
That's the difference between being an employee and being a business person, because businesses have expenses. You got to pay yourself, you got benefits, you've got, potentially, like you and your company, you've got facilities and electric bills and benefits for folks. You've got resources, microphones, software, computers, and all the
Yeah,
things you do to do marketing. That stuff adds up.
absolutely.
And it's not about what Joe down the road can pay you. It's about what it takes to run this business, make a fair and reasonable amount of money in the process, and be competitive out there in the world. And that's why I say, if you're starting a business, especially, you're not going to know all those things. You're going to underperform. You're going to be challenged. You're going to get overwhelmed real quick because you're not a business person with business training and skills
Mm.
to think about all the things that surround whatever product and service that you're really good at.
So I want to turn this next question deals with master classes. I don't know how familiar you are with these things, but basically, just for the folks at home, the master class as a company started in 2015 and really started to expand in 2017. And largely, this question centers around, are master classes generally effective for business coaches? And I want to give you my quick perspective before you jump in, Jason, just to kind of
Yep.
lay a foundation here. I think for me, the problem that I've always had with master classes is that it sets everything up as a generality. And what I mean by that is it acts as though this one class is going to serve as a solution to all of a business owner's problems. And I'm speaking specifically on the business coaching genre. Now, I follow a lot of filmmakers and stuff. We do a lot of commercial videography here, and master classes absolutely work well for niches. If someone's talking about cinematography or framing or composition, like master classes absolutely make sense because you can drill down on one really narrow topic. But when it comes to business coaching, I see a lot of people lighting up these basically 30 to 60-minute classes. There might be 10 in a series. And it's like, this is all the secrets that you need to know on how to run your business effectively. I can't possibly imagine how a 10 series class can answer that very specific question for a very specific business. So I've always been very anti master class for business owners looking for coaching. I've always preferred one-on-one coaching because it's a lot more specific. I don't know where you fall on this. I think I have a guess, but I wanted to poison the well, so to speak, before you jumped in here, just because I hate them so much. Just for me, now my thoughts don't necessarily represent the thoughts of Jason Ballard, but I don't like them because I find them to be wholly disingenuous on what they say the outcomes are going to be.
Yep.
Yep. Next question. That's all we need.
You said it well, Rob. I'm not sure I need to answer the question at this
I'm sorry.
point.
I didn't mean to take that one. It's just that it's a very frustrating
No.
thing for me to see people get taken advantage of that way in that specific genre.
Well, you're clearly passionate about this. This has struck a nerve with you, and it's gotten under your skin. You're like, the hell with these guys, right? I mean, they that's part of the problem in the coaching industry. Kind of went back to one of your first questions about, why people don't engage coaches, right? Well, the bigger challenge in here is we need to I want to clarify something. You struck a chord, and I'm going to jump on this bandwagon because I'm very passionate about this. Very passionate about it. Not all coaches are the same. Period. Dot. There are a lot of people that claim to be a coach. They have a website that says I'm a coach. They have a LinkedIn profile that says they're a coach. They have a resume that says they're a coach. Just ask them. They'll tell you they're an awesome and beautiful coach. Here's the challenge. Any Joe Blow that ever thought about doing anything in life can decide to be a coach. The word coach is used universally. It's a very general term, and it shouldn't be. The coaching industry is not regulated. I want to repeat this. If you are a doctor, you have to be board certified, go through X amount of years of school, internships, and be accredited and pass test to be certified to be a doctor and practice medicine. If you are a lawyer, you have to go to school, you have to pass the bar, you have to do X, Y, and Z to be a legitimate legal provider of those services. That's just the way it is. In the coaching industry, any Joe Blow can call themselves a coach and nobody knows the difference. Jason Ballard is a coach
Yeah.
and Rob's a coach and all these other people are coaches, and we're not all equals.
Right.
And so go ahead, Rob.
Oh no, I'm just agreeing with you. I thought about like the 21-year-olds that come out of college and like I'm a life coach. It's like no, you're not. You're not. You're not a life coach. I'm sorry, you're not a life coach. You've been born all of 5 minutes, and you're going to presume to tell someone double your age on how to live life or how their business ought to go. And the same thing that bothers me about business coaches. It's like, dude, you've never led anything. Like and you're going to sit here and try and tell me how to run my company, and you've never led anything before.
Oh my gosh. It's hilarious. There's a coach in my hometown where I'm at, and this person has a background that is corporate. He made it up to manager level, not director, not VP, not C-suite. He was a kind of a frontline manager level guy, supervised probably 5 or 10 people, and I'm sure he did a great job. The guy's a nice guy. I've met him, talked with him. He's a good person, and I commend anybody that wants to get into the coaching business because the demand and the need for people, helping people in the world is greater than the supply. So anybody that wants to get in the coaching business, I commend them. Get out there, get going. There's a lot of people to help out there in the world. And there's not enough coaches out there to do the work. So get in there and do it. But get accredited, get certified, actually know what you're doing, actually be a coach in something you actually have experience in doing. This one particular gentleman has never owned a business, never been an entrepreneur, is not an entrepreneur. He doesn't think like an entrepreneur. He thinks like a corporate guy that's used to having all of these HR, IT, financial, resources around him in a big company. And anytime he needed anything, he just go to all these people that surround him in the business, never had to solve problems, never had to, figure things out, has no marketing background, no sales background, no business background, but yet he's out there talking to people as if he's an expert business coach, and he's not. And it confuses people. I have picked up, and just in the past year alone, with this one particular coach, I have picked up 4 of his previous clients. They jump ship from him to me because of that reason. And they'll say, wow, man, I just keep having the same conversation over and over with them because there's no depth. They don't have the things you need to provide business people to help them be successful and connect with them on their level. And so, guys, if you're out there, guys and gals, you're listening to the show and you're a business leader in any type of organization. It can be government, it can be a corporation, a small company, a nonprofit, whatever you're leading, and you're wanting a coach, needing a coach, you want to challenge yourself to move forward. Here's a couple things you need to be thinking about. One, what kind of coach do you need? If you are lost in life and you just need encouragement, maybe a life coach is right for you. If you are overweight and you want to trim down, then I'd probably recommend a fitness coach. If you are a leader and you want to move your organization forward, you want to grow, you want to scale, you want to develop yourself as well as your team, and you want to overcome your challenges and really soar higher, then you need a business coach. You need an executive coach. Flat, plain out, and simple. And so, what I do for folks, Rob, and it's out on my website, they can download it for free. I came up with a tool to help people assess coaches apples for apples. Some people come to me and they will compare me with like a life coach or some other coach they came across in their church or in their sports group or whatever, some other quote unquote coach.
Yeah.
And I'm like, time out. You need a business coach. If you're going to interview 3, 4, 5 coaches, one, make sure they're all business coaches. And oh, by the way, here's a 12 question checklist of the questions you need to ask every single one of them.
Mm.
And depending on the answers, you'll know who the right coach is for you. And every time I've given that to a prospect, they come back and say, wow, that was a really great tool. I didn't even know how to compare and measure and equally, evaluate these people to even know what's right for me. They were just blindly going into it and going off a gut feeling. Well, this Rob guy seems nice. Maybe I should go with him.
Yeah.
And it's a failure. It's a failure. And so make sure when you're talking to a coach, they're accredited and they're certified by an internationally accepted body, an institution out there. In business and executive coaching, that's either ICF, Focal Point, or IPEC. Those are the top three organizations of excellence in the coaching space. Um, I just happen to be certified through Focal Point myself because of my relationship with Brian Tracy and other folks in the coaching business that have been doing this and actually founded business coaching over 30 something years ago. And so, just some word of advice: not all coaches are the same.
No, it's really good advice, and I think it's something that people miss out on because it's like anything else in life. And I try to explain this to people when it comes to marketing or podcasting or anything like that. If you're looking for the budget coach, if you're looking for the budget anything, you're going to get a budget product, right? When I buy microphones for the studio, there are XLR mics that cost $40. There's XLR mics that cost $400. The $400 ones are better. There might be 10 times more, but I'll tell you this, they're 10 times better. And that's the whole point. Really quickly, when we were buying chairs for the office, something silly, right? Like it's an office chair. All of my people's office chairs cost around $500 to $600. So they're secret lab chairs, kind of like the one I'm sitting in right now. Um, I,
Yeah,
I
sweet.
I did that because not to flex on people to have super nice chairs, but because these are a 10-year warranty chair. These are a chair that will hold up and last it for 10 years. And in 10 years, how many times do I have to replace the $100 Amazon chair? A bunch, right? And
Yep.
it's the same mindset when you're hiring a coach or a marketer or whatever it is. How many times do I need to keep cycling through coaches before I just, gut up and spend the money on the one that's actually going to work well, the one that I can trust, and everything that you just
Yep.
said about certification and all of that is super important when people are making these decisions and not just going with someone that got out of college and thought it'd be a good idea to be a business coach.
Yeah, so I want to go back and directly address one point from your previous question. Online masterclasses versus other types of engagement under the coaching umbrella. All right. I think that online education and learnings are are good. LinkedIn Learning's got it mastered. There's Udemy out there's got some good stuff on online.
Absolutely.
If you're wanting to study some leadership and management stuff and kind of grow and develop yourself, you can go to John Maxwell and read his books. He's
Mm,
got online courses you can take. Brian Tracy's organization has some online courses you can take, and those are all good and well. There's a lot of good stuff out there if you want, if you're just looking to, do go online on your lunch break and just listen to some positive things like a podcast or an online class that's self-paced, and you just continuously wanting to learn and grow and just kind of maximize your time throughout the day and learn those kind of things. Great. Highly recommend people do that. When it comes to coaching and coaching being delivered as an online masterclass, 10-step process to solving all the world's problems kind of stuff, it doesn't work.
yeah.
It just flat out doesn't work. Take budget out of the mix, take every aspect of you wanting to do that. Oh, it's cheap and it's easy and it's at my own pace and it's this and it's that or whatever. It does not work.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Put anybody on this podcast that does it, and I will win the argument because it does not work.
Yeah.
And here's why. Rob, when you went to college and you took algebra, college level algebra, can you right now today break out a piece of paper? If I gave you a college algebra test, could you break that out and do all the algebra problems and make a 100 on the test?
No,
No. Why?
I don't care about algebra.
Well, that's one reason, but you don't do it every day.
That's the point. Is there's no repetition into it. There's no I haven't been practicing algebra since then. It was
Yeah.
just to finish school.
So, statistically speaking, here's how life really works. If you go to a college class or an online class or you read a book or you take in any information from whatever resource that may be providing it on your own, you will only retain 10% of that information
Mm,
unless it's reinforced over and over and over again. It takes 9 times, statistically speaking, to create a new habit, to break an old one and to create a new one.
mm,
All right. So if you don't understand the material and you don't know how to practice it, you're listening online, you're taking it all in, you're writing some notes, you're trying some things. How do you even know you're implementing it correctly? Is there anybody to talk to, answer any questions? Is there a button you can push on there that says, hey, I did this and it didn't work. Now what?
mhm.
No, right? It's not because it's not coaching. That's
Right.
called education. If you don't follow through on it over time, the 10% you did pick up on will actually fade and the information will be gone from your brain. It's just how the brain works. That's not coaching. That's just development.
Yep.
Coaching is where you get access to an accredited, certified, seasoned, experienced, proven person that's been there and done it many, many times over, has all the tools, the resources, and materials that the online class has, plus 10 times more, and can explain it to you, can walk you through it, can give
Yeah.
you stories of failures and successes. And it's going to come back the next week and say, how did that go? Last week, Rob, you and I talked about implementing this new sales plan. And we talked about overcoming objections because your sales team was not closing as many deals when they got 3/4 of the way through their sales process,
Mm.
and we implemented some new strategies. Show me the numbers this week. How many people did you talk to and how many did you convert? And you talk through that and you create the accountabilities there, the clarities there, the follow throughs there, the confidence picks up, and you transform people in that process. Whereas online, hope you got it the first time because you won't get it the second, right?
Exactly. It's like going to WebMD versus going to an actual doctor. You might be learning things in WebMD,
Exactly.
but that person's not going to walk you through the whole process. And and Jason, on that note, I want to I have a few what I think are going to be questions that are relatively black and white, pretty straightforward. So I want to, if you're willing, I want to enter into the lightning round
All
of
right.
this FAQ podcast, so to speak. So we one of the questions you had already answered by accident, but I want to call it out here because it was on the list, and it was, at what point should a new business owner inject a coach? And you had said right from the beginning, which I think is a great answer. So question number one in this lightning round segment: does coaching need to last in perpetuity? So do you always need a business coach, or is there at a point where you graduate from that?
Yeah. Well, that depends on what you're trying to achieve because business coaches add something to the dynamic that you don't currently have in place.
Mm,
Experience, the ability to do things faster than what you are capable yourselves, minimizes your risk, sees things around the corner, gets rid of your blind spots. There's so many value. If you get the right coach, there's so many things a coach can do for you. And once you put those things in play, and you grow to the next level. Rob, I don't know how big of a company you've ever run, but let's say you're a $5 million a year company and you have a coach and the coach takes you to $10 million. Have you ever seen a $10 million a year company?
no, of course not.
No. So what happens when we take you to $10 million? You're faced with new challenges, new obstacles that allows you and forces you to think differently at that level
Yeah.
and
I hear
redesign the organization to do that. So at every stage of growth and maturity, um, if you aren't used to doing things at that level, you're going to be faced with new things that you may or may not know what to do with. And that's where the coach comes in handy. It can prevent you from falling off the cliff again.
you.
So, do you need to be with a coach forever? Well, that's up to you and what you're trying to do, and whether they're able to help you achieve those goals or not.
Yeah.
If you're looking to, um, well, it just depends. But at every stage, a coach can add value. If the coach is adding value and helping you succeed farther, I'd say keep working with the coach. If there's a point where it stalls, you achieve something, and you're
Yeah.
in a good place of where you want to be, then maybe you don't need a coach.
Love it. Love it. Essentially, Jason, you are the skipper of the client's boat, and you are taking them from the Gulf into the wide open ocean. And that skipper should probably be on board the whole time if they want to have a successful voyage. That's kind of how I look at it. So that's a good
Yeah, I like
word.
that analogy.
Okay, so what stereotype about business coaches do you wish would be eradicated?
Yeah. Well, one is all coaches are the same, and two, do coaches really know what they're doing? What value does a coach really give? Um, people people will often kind of question, and early on in the conversation they'll question, well, how many businesses did you own and what did you do and blah blah, and they'll ask all these like questions to, like, are you good enough to be working with me, kind of a thing. At the end of the day, everybody needs people around them that can challenge them and make them better.
Right.
You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And so it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, can just even take the word coach out of the mix. Can this person that I've met add value to my life? Can this person make me better, make me think differently? Can this person make a difference? And if that's the case and you like them and you trust them and you have some confidence in them and they have a proven background of experience that you can see, you can talk to people and capture that, then why wouldn't you want them in your circles?
That's a great point. It's a great point. So the stereotype largely is that all business coaches are the same because they certainly are not.
Yep.
Yeah, love it.
They are absolutely are not. I think the biggest piece of advice here for folks is whoever you are, wherever you are, what do you need to accomplish and who's the best person with the best skills to help you be successful as much as you want to be successful in that space. And if you're in business, you need a legitimate business coach. If you're, struggling with alcohol addiction, maybe it's a life coach, maybe it's a pastor, maybe it's a counselor. If you're struggling with weight and fitness and you're having some health issues, then maybe it's a fitness coach or a nutritional coach, right? Find the right thing for you to deal with whatever it is you're trying to deal with and have somebody with you along the journey. It's about accountability and transparency and openness and honesty and getting comfortable being uncomfortable with people pushing you farther than you ever thought possible.
I love it. And the last question, Jason, and I'm gonna make you pick one. Um, what is your favorite thing or the thing that you enjoy the most about coaching businesses?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, if you can't tell, it certainly is a passion of mine. I got into the business because of that passion for leadership. I've led for almost 30 years under three core principles, which is leaders motivate and influence people to do things they never even thought were possible. Number two, leaders grow new leaders. Number three, leaders set people up for success. That's the whole point for me in my business. That's my why.
Mm.
I've been a CEO, I've been at the C suite, I've led 12 different organizations over the years, and I've been very blessed to have some success there for sure. I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to be, you know, running organizations anymore. It's my job at the stage of my career to help other people climb the mountain. It's my job to help other people and empower them and motivate them and inspire them and give them everything they need so they can continue. It's about people help me do it. I'm here to help people do it themselves and replace me now that I'm out of the day to day running of organizations. Yeah, I run my own business, but my business is to help other people run their businesses better.
Mm.
And so the most favorite thing about what I do, what just I can have the worst day ever, and this one thing happen, it completely changes the day, and just excites me more than anything is when I see people achieve something bigger than they thought possible. When I talk to somebody that's been on the path of doing something they've wanted to do, they've always thought they could do, they just didn't know how to do it, when to do it. They're caught up in their fears, caught up in things that are holding them back. And when you see them cross the finish line and they call you and say, "We did it," that's when it's worth it, man. That's when you feel like you've made a difference and made an impact.
I love it. It's a great answer. That's a great answer, and that's a great way to end our first uh, deep dive into to some frequently asked questions.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed this. I hope people, keep sending in questions. The thoughts are out there. Everybody that walks the street, Rob, everybody's got challenges, everybody's got problems, everybody's running into the madness of the world for which we live. Everybody's trying to recover from inflation and a recession. Everybody's trying to bounce back from COVID. Everybody's trying to put a foot forward, trying to be more positive, trying to get through the elections and
Mm.
hopefully, we get better elected officials in place that can move the country forward. Everybody's looking for a brighter day and everybody's just tired of negativity. Everybody's tired of of just noise and drama and just crazy stuff that's been going on. People are just dying to move forward.
Yeah.
They just need for somebody to shine the light on the path forward. And that's what I aspire to be is to be that beacon of hope that can help people understand how to do those things. It is possible. You just need to take the right steps in the right direction in order to go down that path of possibility. People out there, they need you, Rob. They need me. They need other positive people that are trying to make a difference in the world. And I think that's our purpose. I think that's what the good Lord has blessed guys like you and me, so we can turn around and bless other people that haven't quite figured it out yet. So um,
Love it.
that's exciting to me. That's just I wake up every day thinking, you know what, somebody needs me today. I have one of my mentors, a few. It's probably been 6, 7 months ago. I was talking to this person and kind of venting, and we're just kind of, talking shop about coaching, so to speak. He's also a coach. And I was in some transition in my own business. He's like, hey, man, every day there's somebody walking around the streets with a sign taped to their head says, "Where are you, Coach Jason? I need you."
Yeah.
And in the world that we live in today, they need guys like you, Rob. They need guys like me. They need guys like Tony Robbins and other people out there trying to do good things. Where are you? It's plastered across their head. They're just depressed, down, hopeless, whatever.
Yeah.
They just need to connect with the right people. And I think that's our mission.
Yeah. I love it. It's a mission that I'm glad to accept, and I know you are too. So
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Rob, for running the podcast, and not just running it, but running it at a level of excellence that I've seen nobody else do out there in the industry. Um, you and your folks are super, super talented. If you ever think about podcast or you need some people to help you in your marketing efforts, I highly, highly recommend Rob Johnson, the owner of Wayne Media and Speakeasy Podcast Network. They are top notch. They do a great job. They genuinely care. They're sincere. No games, no frills and thrills that most marketing companies kind of put out there these days. You don't know what you're getting. It's a bunch of hype and huff and fluff. And Rob's just down to earth. I just enjoy our friendship and our ability to connect and talk about things going on. We're very similar, like-minded people, and what a great show. Appreciate you, buddy.
yeah, I appreciate the kind words, and real quick, credit to my team. They're movers and shakers and do a phenomenal job. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention them. So thank you for the kind words, though.
Excellent team, top-notch staff. Rob, if people want to learn more about Speakeasy Podcast and Wayne Media Marketing, how do they get in touch with the right folks?
Yeah, the best way is waynemedia.com. There's a link to Speakeasy on the top, and then all of our services, pricing, how we do it, and most importantly, why we do it are all featured on the website.
Awesome. Well, feel free to reach out for Rob for those types of things. And, from me, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of our group. Appreciate you with the great questions and the engagement. We can want to continue to do these things. And if you have any thoughts or questions or things you want to do, feel free to reach out at soarhirecoaching.com. Would love to, talk with you more about things going on with you and at least give you some clarity on some things, give you some options and advice that you can take and hopefully make a good decision for you and whatever it is that's going on with you in your life. That's it for today's show. Look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a good day.